Before I talk about the episode itself, since this is a bit different from what I mentioned before, I figure I should give a bit of a backstory. Please excuse the rambling in advance. This will not be a normal thing for all of these, I promise. There's a timestamp, or there should be a timestamp that shows when the pre-ramble's over. It's just, I need to do this. At the end of Sonic Riders, I said I would be taking a break from the games for a while and looking at some expanded media. The example I gave, both in the video and even in the description on that video, was I was going to be doing the Archie comics. And I do still want to cover those at some point, but a few things changed my mind on the priority of what I would be doing. First of all, the comics aren't as simple as going from issue 1 to issue 290, which was the final issue before the Archie comics got canceled and they moved on to IDWs. It has an absurd number of canon and non-canon spin-off comics, and even a miniseries that occurs even before the first issue. And then, of course, the second problem being that even in that miniseries, it's blatantly following through the canon of the Sonic SAT.AM TV show, or at least that's what it looks like when I was looking over a couple panels. I didn't want to read it too much. I just wanted to get a general feel for it, and it's like, oh no. I decided then that I needed to do the show first, and if I'm doing SAT.AM, then I probably need to do all the shows, or at the very least all of them up until X, since that is the point I'm at in the games. As for the show itself and what I know, not a lot. I haven't seen any shows in the series aside from 1 or 2 episodes of SAT.AM. All of Sonic X a really long time ago, and the first season of Boom, which I remember almost nothing from. Still better in my memory of SAT.AM, no, because I remember literally nothing from that show. I know the show ran around the same time as another Sonic TV show, that being Sonic SAT.AM, but it made more sense for me to do all of Adventures, then do SAT.AM, and then go from there on to the next show. I hope I'm right on that, but time will tell. And if I'm wrong, oh well, I can course correct when we get to it. One last detail, and I won't linger on this for too long, but as a disclaimer, these are old shows. As such, there's probably going to be some old, antiquated humor and comedy in it. I'm not going to dredge on it too much, and I'm not going to hold it too stiffly against the show, because it's a product of its time, and I don't really think it's fair to hold that against it too harshly. If it's super egregious, then okay, fine, I'll bring it up in docket points, but I'm not gonna be super harsh just because there's a random gay archetype in it. You just roll your eyes and move on. Alright, with the pre-ramble out of the way, let's actually talk about the show. I'll be doing this episode by itself to get a feeling for things, but in the future, do not be surprised if I bundle multiple episodes together, just because if I want to do all of even just this show, it's going to take me several years. I'll be yeah, no, I need to bundle these. Okay, I swear I won't bring up things like design or voice acting too much, because I feel like there's things I could gripe about for a really long time for things that aren't even necessarily their fault, but wow, Tails looks off-model here. Even in the Genesis games, he was a much brighter yellow in this mud. Now, I know this isn't even exclusive to the show, because I'm pretty sure Sonic SAT.AM did the exact same muddy brown thing that this does. So basically what happens is this episode is a recap episode. It starts off with Sonic and Tails running together really fast, but then they get caught by these two robot things. There's this robot chicken, this green glob monster thing. Especially because most of the episode we don't even know their names, especially the green glob. I don't think we get a name until the last minute of the episode. So after Sonic and Tails get caught in the trap, we transition to a flashback of when Sonic and Tails first met the robots. Yeah, no, we're not getting a flashback say how Sonic and Tails met each other for the first episode. We're getting to see how these robots that had no bearing on the games or even the other shows. Yeah, no, this is what we're starting with. But yeah, we have this flashback, and we have Sonic and Tails hunting down someone that was destroying a town, and they end up heading to a bounty hunter convention, after which Eggman, aka Robotnik, is giving a press conference to all of these robots that he created, telling them, okay, Sonic's a menace, we need to bring him in. I'm gonna get this massive bounty, which of course Sonic and Tails find right away. And Sonic even jumps in with the crowd and starts jeering against himself, which is admittedly actually really funny. Of course, inevitably, Sonic does end up getting caught because, his record-breaking bounty is still too low for him. He just has to bring it up, which, of course, brings Robotnik and all the robots trying to catch him. They fail spectacularly, and Sonic escapes. With Tails, of course, because Tails is just sitting outside by the door, just patiently waiting. Like a little puppy dog. So Sonic intentionally runs slowly out of this building because he wants to try to bait the robots outside so that he can humiliate them some more. He does, and this goes on for the next several minutes. He somehow just builds a 2D tent out of nowhere in no time at all and Trust me, this is the least weird thing that gets built this episode in no time at all. Okay, I don't have like much of a massive point for this next section. It's just that we have this overview shot of Robotnik here in his lair, and I just love this statue. Like I was doing this crazy thrust. Like they could have just had a standard standing statue, but now they went the extra mile to draw like this, and I love it. I sincerely hope this is a mainstay statue, and it's not like normally just a standing statue. So early into this section, we end up seeing this robot monkey thing named Coconut that was apparently in charge of hunting down Sonic. Clearly that didn't go so well, so he gets demoted to janitor. But I don't think things are going to go too well for this poor robot, but hey, allow the robot to dream. Meanwhile, Robotnik is trying to build some new robots, which ultimately end up being that chicken and green glob that we saw before. And somehow the green glob is supposed to be a clone of the chicken. Don't ask questions. You will not be happy with the result. So after this, we go back to Sonic and Tails, who fall for a blatantly obvious trap from Coconut making a chili dog stand. And the chili dog stand, they bait you to think it's going to be poisoned, but no. The show doesn't like the easy way out. So what they did is they had the chili stand turned into a giant attack robot that starts chasing Sonic and Tails and starts shooting at them and trying to grab them and everything. It's beautiful. Like Sonic ultimately ends up winning by rerouting the canvas. It's just really funny that that's what happened. The two of them do eventually fall asleep though, and that's when Green Glob ends up catching up and decides, hey, I'm gonna grow a pumpkin out of my hand by blowing into my other hand. Don't ask questions. This pumpkin becomes a new hat for Sonic until it's not. Then it becomes a hat for Tails. Not a whole lot happens in this next sequence that you wouldn't have seen coming a mile away, but hey, you get to learn the chicken's name. Chicken's name's Scratch. I'm so happy we at least have something from this. So Green Glob tells Scratch that they're going with his plan next, which apparently his plan is for the two of them to hide behind a small rock and for Scratch to blow into its hand, and instead of a pumpkin, we get a woman. I don't get it. It's just a person. Apparently a rather attractive one too, if Sonic's reaction is anything to go by. Scratch's woman hand then ends up grabbing the rock that they're hiding behind and knocking Sonic unconscious. I don't know how this works, but it works. Sonic ultimately ends up escaping their plot and disguises himself as a doctor, telling these two that they have robot chicken pox. I can't make this up. This ends up leading to a whole other spiel of shenanigans, which ultimately ends up with Tails actually getting himself caught. So Sonic is forced to surrender. He gets himself caught into a cage, which so for the second time this episode, they end up pulling a massive diversion. But like the first time I saw this, I was certain what they were going to do was the old animation gag of characters can squeeze behind jail bars because these bars are clearly too big for Sonic. And Tails too, like his hands can clearly fit through these circles. But no, what actually happens is Coconut the robot monkey comes back, tries to throw the other two robots in along with Sonic, but of course Sonic just escapes, throws all three of them in, breaks Tails out. When Robotnik comes, because Robotnik wants to come and claim Sonic, what happens then is that Robotnik gets caught up in a sandstorm and thrown to the ground. It's beautiful. Not a lot else happens before we end the flashback. However, we do learn that the Green Glob robot's name is Grounder, so that is what I will refer to him as from this point on. And yeah, like I said, flashback is over. We are back in the present day, and Sonic seems pretty happy about it, but the robots are clearly not. But it doesn't really matter because Sonic and Tails both break out instantly, and that's it. The episode's over. There is a brief bit at the end of the episode called Sonic Says as well, which I am not going to cover because they're basically just PSAs for kids. Like this episode is just, hey, don't call 911 for pranks, save it for real emergencies, like stuff like that. It's really not worth going over. So, final thoughts. Yeah, the show is every bit as weird as wacky as I had heard. I think by the time I got to the chili dog store turning into a giant fighting robot, I completely turned my brain off, and that is definitely for the best. It's a dumb show for dumb fun. I wouldn't call it mandatory viewing for Sonic fans, like even classic Sonic fans, but there's definitely worse ways to waste 20 minutes too. It's a fun time. It's so stupid. I could not help but laugh at points. Like, chili store turns into giant fighting robots. Anyway, that is it for this time. So thank y'all for watching. And until the next video, take care, stay safe, and have a good one. See y'all next time.